As you guys know, I do rebuttal videos from time to time about different features that I come across. I've done a few about videos, and I did a feature on an article that I found. But my rebuttal videos aren't mean, they aren't angry, they don't demean the person who was involved on the other end. That's not the point. That's not who I am, that's not what I do. I just like point counterpoint. And the other day I found an article over on GamesIndustry, written by Christopher Dring, about the lead up to the Switch and its launch. And there's some points that he brings up that I'd like to offer counterpoints for. Chris starts off the article by saying he feels that the attention on the Switch has been muted and there's not a lot of talk in mainstream media about it. He goes on to specifically say, up until yesterday's onslaught of unboxing videos, there's been a distinct lack of significant mainstream press coverage. Where's the massive media campaign? Where's the release countdowns? Where's the surprise last-minute announcements? I feel like that's been going on a lot. I feel like this system, more than ever, as far as Nintendo goes, this system has gotten a massive media campaign behind it. And I've been covering Nintendo for 14 years now, and I've been a Nintendo fan for much longer. But as far as what I've seen and what I've covered, I feel like there's coverage all over the place. I mean, we could start right at the top and look at the Super Bowl commercial. There was a Super Bowl commercial to promote the Switch as well as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's Nintendo's first Super Bowl commercial. Yes, I know there was the Pokemon commercial, but that was Pokemon Company and Nintendo. This is the first solely Nintendo commercial during the Super Bowl, which cost roughly $3 million, and there's so many eyes on the TV at that time, and they're promoting the Switch. On top of that, Nintendo's been putting out commercials like crazy online. There's been a ton of commercials for the Switch and the different games coming to it. And this is the first time I can remember in my history where I've been watching programming on TV and actually seen Switch commercials, or I should say Nintendo commercials during what I watch. So I know there's a lot of Nintendo commercials during kids programming on like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and stuff like that. But I've seen Switch commercials during shows that I watch. I watch WWE Monday Night Raw every week. And that is, as far as terms of total viewers, the most viewed program every Monday night on cable. And Nintendo had not one, but two Switch commercials a couple weeks ago. And this last week, they had another one. And there was something else I was watching, something I regularly watch, and there was a Switch commercial on during it. And I was like, wow, Nintendo's really pushing this thing. I never see these commercials like this, or Nintendo commercials at all when I'm watching these programs, but here they are. Then on top of that, Nintendo's doing their tours, their hands-on tours for the Switch, which have been going on for quite a while now. They're traveling all across this country and all across the world as well, giving people hands-on time at the Switch, and that's going to continue on after the Switch launches. And that goes for hands-on events and demo kiosks and kiosks set up in malls where you can actually play it. So that's another aspect right there where there's big coverage for the Switch. And then we have the event that Nintendo just put on where they created a living room space in the middle of the desert and invited press and other media out to play the Switch with John Cena. And John Cena, even if you're not into wrestling, is a big star right now. He's crossing over into the world of films and TV. He's hosting his own TV shows. He's in commercials. He's been in movies. He just hosted Saturday Night Live. Like, he's really branching out, much like The Rock did. And he gets a lot of attention on the Switch that wouldn't normally be there. We saw the videos from other YouTubers. Nintendo is without a doubt going to put out a video for that. And John Cena, even on his Instagram account, is promoting the Switch. He just put out a picture today for it. So that's another big area where there's some massive coverage for the Switch in ways that Nintendo really hasn't done before. As far as the mainstream press coverage, that's something I always feel is lacking when it comes to Nintendo support. You know, you get IGN covering it and GameSpot covering it and other big outlets like that. But yeah, Nintendo doesn't seem to get as much attention when it comes to the mainstream press, or mainstream gaming press, we should say. So I can see his point there. I've certainly seen good coverage for it, and I've seen a lot of coverage from outlets. But yeah, I mean, nothing absolutely insane or nothing above and beyond what we've seen in the past, so I can certainly agree with Chris there. As far as last minute surprises go, I feel like there's been a lot of those. Ever since Nintendo showed off the Switch and we knew what was going to be their launch day, we've been hearing about more and more games that are in development, more games that are coming to the system, developers that are bringing projects over. And then on top of that, Nintendo themselves have been showing off surprises. Like we just got a confirmation that Snipper Clips is coming to the Switch on day one, which is something we didn't have confirmed yet. And they revealed a bundle for Europe. So I feel like there's a lot of last minute surprises and announcements. And just look at this week on February 28th, there's an indie event for the Switch. We're going to hear about all kinds of indie projects that are coming to the Switch. Some I'm sure we already know of, and others that are sure to be surprises. So there's definitely surprises going on, and maybe Chris is just missing them. You know, and it boils down to that age-old debate, like where's your advertising money best spent? So it's certainly hitting me, but I'm a Nintendo fan, and I'm covering Nintendo, so I see a lot of stuff the average consumer wouldn't see. But then you have stuff like the Super Bowl ad, which you cannot deny is massive media as far as campaigning goes. That's in front of so many eyes that would otherwise not see what the system is. And there's certainly commercials all over TV. Maybe the programs that Chris is watching, he doesn't see those. But then again, Chris might be in the UK. I'm not sure of that because this article was originally printed in GamesIndustry UK. So I don't know how much airtime the Switch is getting in the UK as far as commercials go. But over here in the States, I feel like it's been Nintendo's biggest push yet for a piece of hardware. Chris goes on to say he knows something's up when Sony's big new IP launch Horizon Zero Dawn, which is out next week, is winning the PR battle so far. Well, yeah, I think there's a major reason why that's happening. Because review outlets got the game, got to play it, and got to review it, and were allowed to publish their reviews. So there's a big burst of coverage right now because the game is coming out in 2 days as of when I'm recording this. It comes out on the 28th. So I don't really think that's fair to talk about right there because we haven't had the review embargoes go up for Switch games. Like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild review embargo is up on March 2nd, I believe. And then you're going to have games like 1-2 Switch and Snipper Clips as well being reviewed. So not exactly fair to say that Horizon Zero Dawn's winning the PR battle when its embargo is up and the Switch software embargo isn't up. Chris then goes on to say, if I was a cynical man, I'd almost suggest that Nintendo is sending its next console out to fail and are preparing a more complete switch to smartphones in the near future. Now, that's just a silly statement. There's not going to be any company that puts out a product where they're like, well, this thing's going to fail. On to the next. We're going to spend millions of dollars on a marketing campaign and we're going to get a commercial on the Super Bowl, but we know this thing's going to flop when it comes out and this will be our excuse to pivot fully into smartphones. That would be a terrible business decision. So I don't think that's the case. I just think that he hasn't been seeing the coverage that he thinks should be out there, and it could be part of what he's seeing, where he's looking, or it could be part of Nintendo failing to reach whatever audience he considers himself a part of. A little bit later, Chris says, if you look at the rather understated marketing campaign, the continued announcement of new 3DS titles, the fact that Nintendo revealed the release date so late, including to many of its own employees, and the absence of rather salient information about the machine's digital functionality, and you get the feeling that the arrival of the Switch next week is almost a soft launch. Now, I had a video here on our channel talking about potential reasons why you might consider the Switch launch a soft launch. You know, that's up for debate, obviously. But his points about the continued announcement of new 3DS titles. Well, yeah, because the 3DS isn't going to be replaced by the Switch, at least not now. Nintendo's making it clear that they have titles lined up for the 3DS until 2018 or into 2018. And that system has sold over 60 million units, so they definitely want to support that fan base and let them know, hey, we got more games coming your way too. Just because Switch is coming out doesn't mean we're going to ignore you. I think that's important for a company to do. When a company puts out a new piece of hardware or a new product, they don't want to go out there and say, hey, you know, the people that got the old stuff, you're going to be dead in the water. You got nothing coming your way. I mean, that happens with game hardware too. Even though the Xbox One and the PS4 came out, PS3 and Xbox 360 still got content and still are getting content, although, you know, it's very little right now. But the first year or so, if not more, of those systems, they certainly saw more content come out. So it's not crazy to see Nintendo tell their 3DS owners that more games are coming on the way. I think that makes perfect sense. As far as the digital functionality that Chris is talking about, yeah, I mean, that's something most fans echo. They want to know more about the online aspect of the Switch. Like, we know that eShop will be there day one, and we know that we can download games and stuff like that, but there's a whole bunch of questions in there that we want answers to, and I don't feel it's inappropriate for Chris to bring that up. I don't know if it's something that indicates that this is a soft launch for the system. If anything, it indicates that this is Nintendo, because this is how they handle things with the 3DS and the Wii U as well. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. Certainly some people would like to see more information, and I can't fault them for that. But this isn't really evidence of a soft launch for Switch. It's more Nintendo being Nintendo. And sometimes Nintendo being Nintendo is good, and sometimes it's bad. And in this instance, I don't think any of us would be upset with getting a good amount of more information on the digital side of things. And for all we know, the presentation that's coming this week about the Nindies will give us a lot of that information. I mean, fingers crossed, that's what we would love to see. But it's Nintendo, so don't expect it. You can be upset about it, certainly, but that's not going to make the information come out any quicker. So that's my little rebuttal of what Chris wrote up, and again, no ill will towards Chris. I hope this video didn't come across mean or anything like that, because it's not meant like that. I just read the article, and I had some points I wanted to bring up. And Chris also brings up some points, whether he knows he's bringing them up or not, like about the advertising saying it's not reaching him. That opens up a whole new discussion of, is Nintendo's advertising doing what it needs to do to hit consumers and get them interested in the Switch? It's different all around the world, so we don't know, but one part of the world could see things differently than we do, because I said I think it's going great here, and they've given it a really big push. But there could be plenty of people across the pond who are like, what's this system? I don't even know anything about it. I haven't seen anything about it. So that's another discussion in and of itself. But that's my thoughts on Chris's article, and I would love to know your thoughts. So hit me up in the comments and let me know why I'm right, why I'm wrong, why I'm an idiot, all the usual great internet comments. Thanks for your time watching the video, and I will catch you next time. Hey guys, RMC here from Go Nintendo. If you like what you saw in the video, why don't you give us a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe? We'd love to have you. If you want to see what else we're up to, you can check out GoNintendo.com for 24-hour Nintendo news. You can visit us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GoNintendo. You can check us out on Twitter at Twitter.com/GoNintendoTweet. And we're even over on Instagram at Instagram.com/GoNintendo. I put all the links in the description just to make it easier for you guys to follow. Thanks a lot.